subcortical areas and eventually in the brainstem where it appears with biological functioning.
Do other dementias have like the diurnal changes, or is that particular to AD?
I'm not sure how clear-cut it is that the sundowning syndrome happens to everybody. Certainly some people get it. But it probably has as much to do with like low light illumination and fatigue, combined with the dementia. But because at the end of the day you're both tired and things are getting dark and you don't have as many sensory cues that you may act out more.
But it doesn't, there's no difference between, it's
But
presenting
similar
itself
levels of impairment, I don't
in dementia versus
AD. These are actually some of the slides back from the Herzog et al. Paper where they were talking about cognitive activity and cognitive functioning and the possibility of slowing down the disorder. This one I thought was kind of intriguing because you've got +2 with the high normal functioning, and then you've got down to very low levels of global cognitive function. And this is your pathology score, and from 0 to none. And then you've got lines for no cognitive impairment as your bottom line. So you've got most of the no cognitive impairment people in open circles. And they're almost all over here from like 0 to 2. And even at this level, you do have a fairly steep decline in the graph of pathology. It goes up to about where the MCI line is. Mild cognitive impaired people are the triangles. And you can see a lot of this one over here between about 0 and 1, which is probably part of the way they were identifying. The pathology level goes like 0, right up into the 2s and so forth. And oddly, you have a somewhat flatter line. And then you've got the dementia folks, which can actually range a little bit above 0 down to -4. But look at the scatter in the squares. I kept looking at this and thinking, I don't know that I would, graphing a straight line is the best idea. Somewhere else. Everything from like 3s down to 0 on your pathology score, and the whole range in between the squares. Just all around. One over here. Correlated, but obviously not perfectly associated. And then more and more scatter as you go up the categories of cognitive impairment in terms of where people are in the pathology score. Well, even some of your zeros are up here. Having some pathology where you don't get anything to This is education level. First point here is that the higher your education level, the less the slope of Alzheimer's pathology. So you can have high levels of pathology and high levels of education, and your global functioning score is still not too much below the 0 level. If you're low educational level, then you're much steeper slope, mid-range. You don't have all the dots on this one. So, and this is, kind of raises an interesting question of, well, here you've got the lower slope. There's one in a minute. Here's the next one. Here we go. Here's your scatter. This is years to diagnosis. And one of the things you're looking for here is you've got a lot of overlap up to about maybe 4 years, and then the lines start to separate. And here what they wanted to argue in the paper is that in these last few years, you've actually got the steepest decline. You get a little delayed decline in the green line. So they hold on, the higher education people hold on a little longer as you 2 or 3 years longer. And then you've got a really steep decline. Everybody meets at the point of diagnosis. Now, there's two things that bothered me about this. One is here, the steep line is a good thing for higher education. And in the previous slide, the flat line is a good thing for higher education. We're going back and forth. It still doesn't quite make sense. The idea is that you hold on for a long time and you go down quick really fast. The other thing is, I'm not sure, this goes back to my preoccupation with the whole diagnostic thing, is that because you're meeting here, because you have to show that level of social and occupational impairment to get the diagnosis, does this just mean that it's hard to tell until you can no longer fight it? And so what education does for you is because you're starting at a higher level, it's actually just harder to diagnose you. It's harder to track impairment in people that are pretty high above the line.
Or is it that because they're maybe the higher education that they have more connections to to be able to cover up, to kind of compensate, and then the actual damage just gets to a certain depth, and then you're off the edge.
And then all those more connections go all at once. But my problem with this, it just seems to me like if this should still go down slower in those last few years rather than the first. You don't have to believe me. This is hazard by cognitive activity level. So by year of the study, your risk of developing Alzheimer's disease is consistently lower, higher cognitive activity, lower cognitive activity. Some of the same stuff that we're talking about with normal aging a few weeks ago. And level of neuroticism. High neuroticism people have a higher cumulative hazard. They would suggest that this has to do with your experienced stress level on a chronic basis across your lifetime. And so there is evidence on several physiological levels that high stress, high cortisol levels wear down your hippocampus, contribute to more hippocampal damage and so forth. Okay. I'm going to do a right test. Here we go. So do you want to go around the room with this, or do you all want to confer and keep up with the answers?
Should we have to confer? That's not a good sign.
Why don't we just take turns? Let's start over here with Matt. Where are you now?
At USC in a classroom.
What building we're in, or what type of classroom?
It's a multimedia classroom in the Leonardo Davis School of Gerontology.
Very good, okay. Where is it located? What streets or freeways are nearby?
Vermont and Exposition. One stands right over there.
What city are we in? Okay, what state are we in?
I'm not quite sure all the time. Californication. California.
What floor are we on?
Third, second.
Oh!
What is the date today? The month of the day?
October 29th.
See, but I wonder if that has a specific value for you. Like, you know something is going to show up on the 29th, you only remember it for that reason. Because the rest of the month, I have no idea what date it is, unless I have something important going on for this day.
I've always thought that people like myself who have to look at their lunch to check should always be embarrassed about counting on. What year is this?
2009.
You sure? You look well this way.
Well, I signed a contract the other day in 2008 and got sent back.
What's the day? The day of the week?
It is Thursday.
And what season is it? Okay. Well, this is good.